Thank you for tuning in to the Unjiggered podcast. If you enjoy listening, please consider subscribing and giving us a rating on your podcast service of choice. Also, don't forget to like and tag us on Instagram at unjiggered_media. Thank you to everybody for listening, and now on with the show. You're listening to Unjiggered, a bartender podcast where we interview highly successful bartenders about their careers, lives, and the passion of bartending. This week we caught up with Bannie Kang, the world-class 2019 winner just before she moved to Taipei. We chat about her inspiring work ethic, her world-class 2019 victory, and of course that defining top 8 speed challenge. With this podcast we want to peel back the mask and discover just how the greats really became the greats, so sit back and enjoy.
My name is Bannie Kang and originally from South Korea and used to work in Singapore, and now I'm moving to Taipei.
Fantastic. Thank you for finding the time. We managed to catch you just before you leave Singapore. How long have you lived here for?
I here for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm leaving tomorrow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
9 years is a long time.
Yes.
So have you always worked in bars?
No. Yes. I since moved to Singapore. I work as waitress.
Mm-hmm.
Then I actually start bartending 7 years.
Okay.
Going to be 7 years.
And why did you decide to start bartending?
Actually, eventually world class competition. So my ex-beverage manager just won world class Singapore 2019, same year as Eric Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he represents Singapore
2009, not 10.
2010.
10.
Yeah, 2010, correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just for me was just everything was so amazing. So he used some fresh stuff to create some amazing cocktails, and everyone is so excited to talk with chit chat with him, kind of thing. And yeah, that is just inspired me to become like someone like him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What were the first steps that you did in order to become a bartender? So how did you go about it? Because you have this idea, I want to become the most amazing bartender in the world. How do you go about it?
So I was decided to back to Korea because my English was very poor. So I can't learn anything from Singapore. So I decided to move back to Korea for a year. Then I studied those very basic stuff like gin is made from what, vodka is made from what, kind of thing. And then those simple classic cocktails. Then I back to Singapore and start over again. So I start with the waitress first.
Mm-hmm.
Then slowly I taking part kind of competition, and then like Diageo World Class 2013.
Mm-hmm.
After that I promote to bartender.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were working on the floor, you said that you were still as a waitress trying to enter competitions. Am I right?
Yeah.
So how did you go about making drinks, and where did you find the knowledge and the time to make drinks as a waitress?
It's actually kind of a limitation because many things I don't know. And then when I first joined World Class 2013, I actually literally practice everything, every single thing. So all the speech, all the making cocktails step by steps, and just every day practice. I take my off day, I take my leave and everything. So when it comes to some of the challenge that you need to create like on the spot or like mystery box challenge, I have a very kind of limitation because I don't know how to create something new on the spots. Mm-hmm. Because I don't have much experience, and then I was waitress, I'm not real bartenders.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many hours practice did you put a day, more or less, on average?
When 2013, I literally morning until night, midnight. So every day I have very big support from hotel side, so I can borrow like a ballroom like this.
Kind of event space, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So literally morning until like midnight. And then because I also need to wait for my managers, because she actually helped me a lot on speech, the English part. Mm-hmm. So kind of memorized together with kind of the paper, we wrote everything.
Whiteboards, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And how much did you learn during this experience?
I really learned a lot. First thing was I made so many new friends in industry. And then second is I managed to visit all the cocktail bar in Singapore. And like slowly learn how to create some new drinks with the challenge. And then also most important thing is I learn how to speak to customer. Yeah, not just competition. Yeah, slowly become a real bartender, not just competition bartender. Yeah.
So, like, really, the competitions have been a way for you to really develop yourself as a bartender.
Yeah.
So you started with that specific mindset.
Yes.
It's the very first time I hear something like that, you know?
Yeah, actually, some of them, maybe they say competition is maybe wasting time or kind of thing. I heard a few times, but for me personally, I believe that. And then I also send a lot of my junior bartender for competition because it's not about win or not win or you represent Singapore. That is a second thing. That is a bonus. Most important thing is they can actually improve their confidence because you present is your baby, your drinks is your baby and your stories. So I think most important thing is you can get way more confident in front of the audience, and then you create your drink for your own, so you spend a lot of time for your career, your own things. So
this is quite interesting because at least from my point of view, I've always seen competitions as something that you do once you've established yourself as a bartender within your team. And I've never seen competitions as a tool to grow. I mean, eventually they become a tool to grow. And when you enter it and you see it, you think, okay, I can learn so much from this. But I was always taught that you have to get to the point where you can do competitions. You can't just enter competitions. And to hear from you that you've used competitions to your advantage so much, it's unbelievable. I find it very, very inspiring.
Yeah, I think I believe that different people, different thought or different style. But for me, I really appreciate for competition because sometimes in the hotel bar, you have a very limitation for you to do something, as you know, because you have a lot of rule and regulation, and we wanted to do something that, or we wanted to create something that is very hard to, always there has a line or limitation to do. But I find out the competition when you go, I feel I'm alive. I can do whatever I want, like, because there is some competition, they will give you a challenge, like you can do literally whatever you want, you can create something amazing kind of thing. So I don't keep a limitation or line. I can do just what I want, what I like. So I feel I'm growing. But of course, competition is just part of your bartender's life. Competition is not for everything, but for me, it's worth it for you to grow with the competition.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's very, very eye-opening. You mentioned that you competed in world class. How did you do that year, 2013?
2013, just everything is practice. Everything was research, and I asked so many different people for support and help. And then I believe that I met so many great people around me. That's why I have me now. So yeah, that was really actually very tough moment, and then really a lot of hard work and a lot of people around me support kind of thing.
Of course. And so you finish your work class, then eventually you got a job as a bartender. How did it go behind the bar, working as a full-time bartender? Did you find any difficulties?
Yes, of course, world class is one of the bigger bartender competition, and that moment we don't much have many competition. So I believe that everyone's dream to achieve in world class the great result. Then 2013, my first world class, I get the top 4 in Singapore. So many people actually after that come to my bar and try to order some cocktails, and then I am so nervous because I know that I did for competition is everything I was practice. And then I don't have head bartender, and then we don't have proper bartender in my previous bar. So just everything was practice. Every single 1 to 10, everything just practice every day. Then suddenly people come to bar, like they order some bespoke drink or some classic cocktail that I don't know. So I was find out, this is some challenge, another challenge, because competition I just practice every day, but this is a real life, real bartender's life, right? Suddenly people come, so I found out some challenge, and I need to study some knowledge, and start to do one by one in daily life.
What tools did you use to practice for your bartending job?
So another lucky days that I transferred down to Antidote 2013 after Diageo work class. Then I finally met my mentor, which is called Tom Hogan. So after I met Tom, then he slowly teach me how to create some cocktail, or like some knowledge of the spirit or some other classic cocktails. And most important thing is he actually pushed me a lot for the speak to customer.
Okay.
Because my previous bar was located at 70th floor, which is Sky Bar now. So everyone just sitting at the view. So no one wants to talk to bartender in the bar counter. So I don't practice how to chit chat with the customer.
Okay.
But after I moved to Antidote, I start to chit chat with customer and kind of thing. But I was so nervous, and then I always worry about my English, so I don't want to talk to customer. But Tom is the person always push me, and then he actually literally stand beside me and he listened to our conversation. So if I need help, he always jump in and help me.
Okay.
So actually, after I met him, I slowly become how the bartender is not just making cocktail behind the bar. You need to like hospitality. You need to talk to customer and kind of everything. Yeah.
Okay. And have you had any difficult moments with it? Like, do you remember anything that went very bad with you having to talk to a guest and this guest flipped somehow, or?
Yeah, actually a few times, because I don't understand some English, so maybe some customer feel quite annoyed. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Actually a few times. And then actually last time, the female bartender is not very common in Singapore, and they just take it as differently. Yeah, actually I have some challenge long ago, but now everyone is
now
the
it's
same.
better?
Yeah,
Okay.
now it's better.
So as a woman, as a bartender woman, you had challenges. You think you had a bit of challenges just because you were a woman? Not because the job was more difficult for you, but because people perceived you as like, why is she here, or anything like that?
Yeah, and actually I have a challenge. Just an example, like we do same service to customer, but maybe some gentlemen misunderstand. So they write for me the room number last time. Yeah, so I just straight go to Tom, like I have received room number, ask me to come up to room, yeah, kind of thing. But I'm just do my job. I just give them the hospitality. I just nice to all the customer the same. But maybe some guy customer is misunderstand. Yeah. Or maybe also some of them, they just doesn't want to order drinks from me. Yeah, they purposely order from guys, not the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it still happening, or less?
Now no. But that was like 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Singapore has changed a lot in 6 years, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you have spent how many years in Antidote?
If I count everything, is 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
And how did Antidote change during these 5 years, and what was your role in the change?
First, we was really great bar in Singapore. Is one of the best hotel bar in Singapore, because not many hotel bars on that time. And then we do a lot of like fresh herb, because fresh herb garden was one of our selling point and a unique point. So we grew a lot of fresh herbs, kind of flower. So we try to match with our cocktail and simple and interesting and refreshing cocktail. And then we have always have great tapas and try to match with the drinks and tapas kind of things. But after 3 years, we actually kind of
dropped a little bit,
drop a bit. And then we have a mending issue. After our head bartender left, we have a bit of struggling with mending kind of thing.
Okay.
And actually, I was left Antidote once.
Okay.
Yeah. Then after I back to Antidote,
Sorry, where did you go while you left Antidote?
I went to Nutmeg and Clove.
Okay.
Yeah, I joined Colleen. Yes.
How long have you worked in Nutmeg for?
1 year.
1 year.
Yes, because I wanted to have some private bar experience.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's very important. Yeah.
And then also I met another great bartender. His name is Kai In from Taiwan.
Okay.
Yeah. So like another like learning point kind of thing. And after that, I joined back to Antidote with Tom. I worked for Tom for a while. After that, he left.
Okay.
So after that, we got a bit of struggling with the mending issue. We kind of, looking for new barman
bartender.
kind of thing. Then few time passed by. Then I become a head bartender.
Okay.
And then working with my husband. He's actually behind the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, so we try to push up the Antidote's name, and then try to work hard together with the team. Yeah.
Okay. When you moved from being a bartender to being a head bartender, what were the main challenges that you had, and how did you go about solving them?
Personally thinking, because I need to building my own team, so because now my position is head, so I'm not a junior anymore, right? So I need to working together with team, become a mentor, and then become a guardian kind of thing. So I think building your team was a challenge, but also fun, because you can really feel that is a
A unique bond. Yeah,
Yes.
become a big team. Yeah.
Yes, correct. And also, I always create the drink for competition, but now I need to create drink for our bar. So you need to balance what kind of ambience or what kind of concept kind of thing you need to think about, because Antidote is quite huge, so we cannot do too many complicated drinks. Yeah,
of course.
So always find the balance, because we always have mending issue. We don't have many bartenders behind the bar, so try to find the balance. Great drink, but also they can manage
Yeah,
the
of course.
flavor and the drinks.
Easy to deliver.
Yeah, correct.
Antidote is a very big bar. The menu is quite unique. What is the main brief behind the menu? What's the main concept, and how do you go about creating the drinks for the menu?
So first thing I try to do is refreshing, clean, and then first menu. After I become head bartender, our very first menu was try to link up with our herb garden. So try to use a lot of our fresh herbs and the fruits and flowers kind of thing matched together, and of course with the chef. So try to think about how we're going to, but not we don't have pairing menu, but we try to link up with what kind of drinks if customer order this food, how are we going to manage to upsell with the drinks and food kind of thing. And then second menu, I try to create that everyone can easy to manage, and then can be more fast,
Okay.
can fast deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it more easy to
Easy to yes.
produce. Fantastic. And who designs the menu for you?
So the concept was my idea, but we actually have great colleagues that can draw the drawing. So he's actually tattoo artist.
Okay.
So we actually got meeting, but actually very, very rushing to come out with the drawing part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the drawing part is quite beautiful as well.
yes.
The drinks are also delicious. And you've been in Antidote for quite a while now. What made you decide that you were ready to move?
Wanted to take some new challenge, because I'm really love Antidote and especially Fairmont brand, but I was stay for quite long. And then my first job at Antidote is actually same group, so I literally stayed this group for whole my Singapore life. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to take some new challenge and new experience in overseas. And then that is actually Taipei in
Okay.
Taiwan. And then I don't know why, but always I have a great relationship and some unique destiny, like kind of thing with Taiwan.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Are you worried about the language barriers that you will have there?
I'm
or-
worried about the Mandarin, but I'm more than happy to learn new language and especially Mandarin. I will try. So maybe next time I come, I can speak to you Mandarin.
I have to learn Mandarin
Yeah, you
too.
need to learn Mandarin.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And, 谢谢. And what are you going to do in Taipei? Tell us.
So we are opening kind of restaurant bar. So the bar is the name is Mu. So Mu Taipei. So the bar is actually kind of speakeasy and then very small bar like 30-seated kind of feel, and then it will be more cozy. And then we don't have a service. We actually have 5 bartenders, so everyone can rotate to do bar and service same time together. And then yeah, the drinks is going to be very simple and more delicate and easy to produce and easy to drink. And also we will try to just hint of Asian flavor. Maybe can be Korea, can be Japan, can be Southeast Asia kind of, or Taiwan. Yeah. And then the restaurant side is we will do refined tapas.
Okay.
Yeah. So the restaurant and the bar food is different.
Okay.
So the bar food is much more simple and just finger food. And then restaurant side is more like a course. Yeah. So we will doing for dinner first at the moment, but we might going to do lunch as well. Then also we also have private dining room. So if you want to have more cozy, more private kind of space, we also can provide you private dining room.
How big will the bar be?
So it's a total is almost 70 seated.
Okay, quite
So
big.
yeah, restaurant side is 40 and then bar side is 30. But good thing about the bar and the restaurant is we also have a thin line. So we have a private event kind of thing we can open up
Okay,
with the bar and restaurant.
together. Okay.
Yes.
And tell us about the name. How did you choose the name?
So Mu is actually Chinese word, but it's a showcase on tree.
Okay.
But also it's because Chinese has so many different meaning, but maybe and then their pronouns is same and different writing.
Okay.
So it's like you can write another way is actually water.
Okay.
So water is actually represent bar, and then wood is actually represent restaurant.
Okay.
So you cannot live, wood cannot live without water. Yeah. So we kind of link up together. And then also another thing is like eye.
Okay, another
So
meaning. Yeah.
another meaning is eye.
Uh-huh.
So kind of vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And how long have you been working on this idea for?
Actually quite sure. Less than 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 months. Yes. So quite, but actually we talk about this project for a year, but after the process was very short, less than 3 months.
And was it difficult to find a property in Taipei? How did you go about finding a place?
Actually, I have one of our partner is from Taiwan, and then he is actually my coach for world class competition. It's 2019, and a really good friend of mine. So he's actually help us to go and see all the place and kind of thing. And he's actually already has own bar in Taipei, which is Bar Mood.
Ah, okay. Awesome.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So 50 best bar in Asia and then one of the top bar in Taipei. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you mentioned it, so let's talk about it. World Class 2019. So we mentioned that for the 2013, you had to put a lot of practice in. And you mentioned that you're the coach for this competition. What was the relationship in between you and the coach, and how much time did you spend practicing?
So for me, doesn't matter about small or big competition. I always take it very serious. I don't want to regret after I finish competition. Doesn't matter about what result. So I put a lot of effort. Actually, 2013, I decided to join back to work class was really very hard time for me because after 2014, I was actually resting for work class for almost 4 5 years. That I actually take part other competition because I feel I'm not ready for the world class competition. So it's very hard for me to decide that back to world class 2019, and then I told myself if I join this time, this is my last world class competition.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was really nervous for national final in Singapore because I found that everyone is new face or energetic young talented bartenders, and then I'm kind of old, so it's very hard to competing
You're
with.
not old, but I know what you mean. Like,
Yes.
You're not 19 either.
Thank
so
you.
definitely,
So it's a very big challenge and very big burden for me, but I very lucky that I made it to global final. But I feel that I don't know. I just feel too nervous, and that I need someone who really know about our class experience. So I try to look around that few number of senior from Singapore or other countries. But I think the Nick is the best person, and then we already have some relationship, and then he know that my style behind the bar. So I personally asked him for favor that can be my coach. But I was so worried that because we are different country, I'm from Singapore, he's from Taiwan, and then Taiwan is always take part world class, and then they always has very good score in global. So I was kind of worried, but I still tried to ask. Then very lucky that he said yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So after that, he actually before I fly to global, he came actually Singapore twice, but very short. He came first was 3 nights, and second was 4 nights.
Okay. And how much practicing did you do for the global final?
So every day we start practice 7 in the morning till 12 p.m. because Antidote is kind of all day dining. So we can't just practice behind the bar on afternoon, like lunch service. So we come 7 in the morning, then the maximum we try to do like 12 p.m. and maybe we will do like 6 to 7 p.m. 1 more hour kind of thing. Yeah.
And did you practice during your days off?
Yes, of course. I take my off day and I clear my leave. So I always believe that competition is my own time. So I cannot use working hour to do practice my competition. Yeah.
Okay. So you have never used the bar time or essentially your guest time for your competition. You always were, if you are at the bar, you are 100% focused on the bar, and if you are
Yes,
practicing, so you managed to separate those two.
Yes, correct.
Because I think this is something that's very, very important for especially younger generations. Because it's something that is not always the case. There are a lot of situations in which someone might be practicing or trying different things for a competition during the shift.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So I also find out some of the issue with this kind of thing before. So I always remind my bartenders that I understand if really the business is not busy or, really depend on the situation. But for me, I always using my own time for practice for competition. So I try to educate with our bartender that try to come early or maybe stay back after your shift, or maybe off day just you spend maybe 3 hours for practice your competition. Yeah.
And so global final, you fly to Glasgow.
Glasgow, yes.
How did that go?
Because this year we travel quite a lot. First we went to Amsterdam, then we traveled to Skye to Glasgow. So we got quite a lot of travel. So before challenge start, actually got another challenge in my room because my bag was totally wet because with the ice bag. So everything was wet. So I was so stressed, like,
No clothes.
Yeah, I
No
know.
way.
No, I still got clothes, but all my like presentation kind of thing was all totally wet.
Oh.
So I tried to dry, and I was so stressful. And then some of the hotel room doesn't have chiller, so I need to go down to lobby and ask them for
Refrigeration.
favor. Yeah, kind of thing. But it was fun. But I feel like so many different challenge before actual start the challenge start. Yeah.
Okay. So you did the Amsterdam bit, you did your Sky bit. How was Sky? Did you like it?
Yeah, of course, so beautiful. We went to Talisker Distillery, really, really beautiful. And when we just arrived, was really heavy rain and kind of windy. But after we end our competition, suddenly got suns come up, and then so beautiful. Yes.
And what were the challenges that you find the most difficult?
Actually, every challenge was difficult for me, but most difficult challenge was Tanqueray number 10 because I need to create 3 different cocktails and 3 different speech. And then the time is same time limit as other challenge. And then why I so stressed because before I start my challenge, I actually missing 2 ingredients. So I need to literally run up to collect my ingredient bag. So after I bag the backstage, like less than 5 seconds, they say, "Oh, Bannie, you need to ready to go." So already so nervous. And then my judge was Julie Liner and Mr. Ago. So yeah, very nervous. Yeah.
Okay. And which challenge did you have most fun with?
I guess speed challenge.
Yeah. I mean, there's a video that you have destroyed everybody during that speed challenge. Like, there's people on other international communities just talking about that speed round. So
Thank you.
how much did you practice for that?
Actually, maybe you don't believe, but I never practice at all because speed challenge, if you never make it to top A, you're not able to have this chance. So always just practice before other challenge. Yeah, but so I was so nervous, but I memorized the recipe as much as possible. And then because some of the cocktail actually I never even met before.
Okay.
Then how I practice was Nick, my coach, actually we sit down together in the cafe and then he just give me some of the cocktail I need to like write down and then I need to draw the cocktail glass or garnish and like stir or shake or shaker or mixing glass kind of thing. He give me 2 minutes. So within 2 minutes I need to draw everything kind of thing. This is how we practice, not about movement.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't have time to practice movement. So how I practice was pen and paper.
So you just practice the idea of it, not
Yes.
the actual doing it.
Yes.
Wow, that's incredible. So
But that was really helped me a lot.
why?
Because I was so nervous. Within 2 minutes, I can't do anything. I can't set up. I can't touch, or I can't do anything for my station. Only literally, I can just see only, right? So when I pen and paper, when I drawing, I also kind of practice which drink I'm going to do first, you know, and then how I'm going to set up kind of thing. So I think that's helped me a lot, quite a lot.
That's amazing. So all challenges are done and dusted. Announcement comes, and you have just found out that you won. How did you feel?
I was really just stuck, like become a frozen, like ice, like just in my brain, just no any words.
Okay.
Yeah, just too shocked.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah?
Actually, before that, I thought I would cry or maybe but I was really literally feel that this is too big competition. And then, like, how should I say? I imagine that I will win. Also feel that something wrong. I shouldn't imagine about I'm winning. You know.
Okay.
So I never ever thought that I will win. So my brain was just
Off.
Yeah,
Static.
correct. Yes.
And how long did it take you to get to understand that you won?
I think after 1 month, after I come back, I still can't believe
Really?
Yes.
It took you a month to
Yes,
realize you
for
want
month
global
I
world class.
realized, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, we all know that world class is probably the biggest out there, and you know that there's only a select 0.001% of bartenders in the world who win that, and now you are part of that. So it's a very, very unique club. You
Thank
should
you.
be very, very proud of
Thank
yourself.
you so much.
So now that you've won world class, what's next for you? Like, apart, okay, we talked about your career, like you're opening your own bar, and that's a massive project. Would that entitle any additional work with Diageo, the fact that you won world class?
Yes, I'm going to travel with Diageo, doing some guest ship with share with experience with the world class finer and kind of master class. And of course, I'm doing for some judging for national finer world class competition. And the most I wanted to do is I want to showcase more as Asian bartender, not about women. So because I'm Korean, but I'm working in Singapore, and now I'm moving to Taipei. So I think it's like I really excited to showcase all different part of Asia, and also wanted to inspire more young bartenders. Yeah, but of course like women, because I'm woman, but of course want to inspire like ladies or gentlemen, doesn't matter about gender, but wanted to inspire more young generation bartenders.
And what is your best memory from world class?
I'm meeting all the legacy people. Yeah, like I feel that I'm chit-chat with Julie Liner. I feel I'm dreaming. Like I'm talking to Eric. I'm sure you know the feeling, right? Like I feel like kind of dreaming. Then, you know, after you win the global, or the previous winner come and carry you, and that moment I just literally feel dream. Because when I was someone carry me there, when I look down, Eric is there, right hand side, like Tim Phillips is left hand side, kind of thing. You know, just I feel was unforgettable moment. Yeah, in my life.
Eric hair stayed the same though, right?
Yes.
They never move.
Yes.
So, but do you now realize that this moment that for you was a dream, one day there will be someone who will join that competition and will look at you and will feel the same way that you felt when you look at the people there?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, because I keep as Orlando last year winner. How do you feel that you was last year you was just another competitors and you won, and this year you came for judging, and how do you feel? I asked him that question before, and then I think so. Next year winner, I don't know who, but I think he will feel the same thing.
That's a crazy feeling. Must be,
right?
Yeah?
Yes.
Unbelievable. Cool. So we talked about your future projects. We talked about your bar and world class. Now I think it's a good time to wrap this interview. However, I want to ask you a question I ask everyone. So if you could choose your very last drink, what would that drink be?
Highball, Johnny Walker Highball.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
Bannie.
so much. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed our chat with Bannie. You can find us on Instagram at Unjiggered_media, and you can follow our personal accounts at mmariotti89 for Michele, Alex J. Murphy for myself, and Adrian Bessa for Adrian. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.